So today I watched two new movies, but I'm going to do them in separate videos because they are very different films. I don't want to link them together. So the first one it opened today. It is Crazy Rich Asians, which was directed by Jon M and is the first film with an all-Asian cast to be released by a studio in America since the Joy Luck Club 25 years ago. That is shameful. That said, this was a great film. I really enjoyed it. It is definitely worthy of joining the wedding rom-com canon, which is my favorite kind of rom-com. Who doesn't love a good wedding rom-com? It actually reminded me of the sort of energy of something like My Best Friend's Wedding. Although, obviously, in My Best Friend's Wedding, she's trying to break up a wedding, and in this one, she's just a girl in a wedding thrown into very strange situations. But the reason I compare it to My Best Friend's Wedding is that is another big, lavish, several events, 4-day wedding where a less rich person is marrying a rich person, and there's an outsider watching all the rich people just being, how rich people are, and also an outsider getting thrown into a very close-knit family and what that's like. So this film is based on a book by Kevin Kwan. There are, I guess, 3 books in the series. I have not read them, but I intend to now that I've enjoyed the film. And it stars Constance Wu, who is the star of Fresh Off the Boat. But it also has Henry Golding, who I had not seen before, but I looked him up, and apparently he was a personality as himself, and this is his first sort of role as an actor. But his next film, Monsoon, is actually written and directed by Hong Kao, who had this film called Lilting a couple years ago that I really, really loved. So I'm looking forward to that. And he's Henry Golding is really nice to look at. So and Hong Kao has a beautiful sense of just beauty in the way he frames shots. So I can only imagine how he's going to shoot Henry Golding. I'm going to probably pass out. It also stars Michelle Yeoh, who is just one of the greats. No matter what the movie is, she's gonna bring it. And then Gemma Chan, who I thought I recognized, but maybe she just has a voice that sounded similar to somebody. I realize now I think she sounds like what's her name from An Education? Not Carey Mulligan, but the other one. They just have a very similar British accent. And Awkwafina, who has been in 2 films this year, and I somehow managed to miss Ocean's 8, so I need to catch up on that. But she was hilarious as the sassy best friend. And so the thing about the film is that it hits a lot of the sort of things you expect in this kind of comedy. You have a mother-in-law who's a little difficult, or soon-to-be mother-in-law who's a little difficult. You have the ex-girlfriend. You have the best friend. You have the supportive mom of the main character, things like that. But they're done in a way that it feels what's the word I'm looking for? I had a word and it just left. It feels comfortable is not the word I was looking for. What is the word? Familiar. There we go. That was so hard. Shit. It's late. It feels familiar, but refreshing at the same time. And I think films that follow formulas but are able to sort of spice them up a little bit are always enjoyable because kind of know what's going to happen, but you don't quite know how it's going to happen. And in this case, this is one of those films where you kind of know the structure. You know what's going to happen. They're going to meet the family. It's going to cause ruptures, and at some point she's going to, because this is a Cinderella type story, right? She's going to give him up, and then he's going to come back. That's the plot. It's happening. But it's enjoyable to watch as it happens. It's enjoyable to watch the beautiful sights of Singapore and those islands there. Beautiful, lush town, houses and interiors. There's some interesting side stories with Gemma Chan's character, which I am told is a main plot point in the next book. So fingers crossed we get like that book or that movie. What else was I going to say? If you liked Constance Wu in this and you have not seen The Feels, it's on Netflix, and she's a lesbian in it, and it's written and directed by a woman, and I recommend watching it. She's very charming in that. Constance Wu and Henry Golding have great chemistry in this. She is that determined sort of all-American girl facing, you know, a family that doesn't understand that that's a virtue. So I thought it really worked, even though it was following a formula. I enjoyed the formula, and it also has several really amazing covers of pop songs. I guess in Chinese, including a masterful cover of Coldplay's Yellow. Halfway through it, I was like, this sounds so familiar, and then I realized that it was Yellow, and I was like, oh my god. So now I have to look that up and see who sang it and like listen to it all weekend. So this is Crazy Rich Asians. I think it's very good, especially if you like romantic comedies. It's just a very solid rom-com. It's also nice to see a variety of people. The story behind Constance Wu's character Rachel's mother and how she came to immigrate to America was really interesting and really timely, and had added a layer to, you know, the formula that if you had just had you know, Julia Roberts' character in My Best Friend's Wedding, like she's probably 4th, 5th generation American, and who knows what that story is, but like it's so far removed that it's almost not part of her anymore. Whereas Rachel in this film is 1st gen, and her mother's story, both in terms of in China when she left China and how she started her life here in America, and what she was able to do for her daughter and what her daughter has accomplished, is important. And it's important to have stories like that in films, but to not have that be the main part of the film, like that the whole struggle thing, that's part of who they are, but it doesn't define who they are. And so it's part of their characterization, but it's not the main point of this film. And I thought that added something refreshing to rom-com genre. I always love a rom-com with a little bit of a purpose. So this is Crazy Rich Asians. It's pretty much playing everywhere. You should definitely go see it. You will have a good time. You will become a fan of Awkwafina. You will laugh. You will cry. You'll be excited about shirtless dudes and really beautiful gowns. And like, what else do you need in a movie? Not much. So this was Jon M. Chu's Crazy Rich Asians. I recommend it.